How is it going then, everybody? I hope you're all doing very well. Welcome back to another video here on our channel. I'm the FIFA Analyst. Today, I'm bringing you a Gold to Elite FUT Champs guide as we're going to focus mainly on defending. We're going to go back through one of our games from the weekend, take a look at some of our defensive mistakes, some of our defensive strengths, and teach you guys exactly what you need to do to hopefully get better at defending on FIFA 21. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a big thumbs up. You can also subscribe to the channel. We do stream over on Facebook Gaming, a link to the description for that, along with a link to our second channel. So we're going to go through and analyze the game that we did play against the opponent. Obviously, we're running the 4-1-2-1-2 narrow this weekend, which is a little bit more aggressive, which obviously does leave you open on the counter attack. So we're going to take a look at everything, a bit of right stick switching and so on. So we start the game off really well with Politano getting us a goal straight away from winning the ball back from kicker. So we're just going to run through this goal for you. Although we're mainly focusing on defending, I do want to look at anything that we can do to help you guys in attack as well. So as obviously we tried to take the Kyle Walker on, we know full well that we don't necessarily have the full-on pace to get past the Kyle Walker and actually get a clear shot off goal. Now, when defending these scenarios, you know that you may look for the 1-2. However, the João Felix is facing down towards this way. So looking for a double tap pass into there will be a little bit optimistic. So for you as a defender, what you should be doing here is I explain this like tram lines, essentially. So you want your Kyle Walker to stick on the tram line towards the goal, towards the goalpost. So just think like a train track, what it would be on, the little tram lines, like so. And you want to stick on that path. Why do we want to do that? Because if you stick along that path at all times, what it's meaning is that you're not coming off that track and then leaving a little gap in behind for the opponent to do a skill move and get past you. You're forcing them out towards the wing, right? You want to get them out towards the wing because that's where they're less of a threat. So here you'd want to hold obviously the R2, the RT button to sprint and keep up with him. But as you can see, he kind of comes down with me. If you keep along that way and don't commit too much, you're definitely going to stay goal side of the opponent. Now, I get into here, the opponent possibly is thinking, oh, you're going to come back into there. That's where a lot of people would go in this scenario. Try and put yourself in the opponent's shoes when you are attacking and try and do the opposite of what you think you would do in that scenario. Now here for the opponent, what he should be doing, if you remember, if he's stuck on that tram line that we said about, instead of being here, he would be there, which would make it easier for him to react to my skill move into either path. So he would be goal side more. At the minute, he's not full on goal side, which gives me that little bit of room, make him commit, obviously with the drag back and then laying it off to the Politano. So giving us the 1-0 lead, nice early on. Obviously, good attacking movement from us. We're trying to keep the opponent guessing. We're trying to make it difficult for him. It was a hard situation to defend, but if he would have took some pointers on board, possibility that he just shoves me out a little bit and blocks the angle to make it a little bit harder for myself. So straight away from kickoff, the opponent does give us the ball back, which is quite poor on his end. So we're trying to use the 4-1-2-1-2 narrow really well, using the player lock system to get past and find the João Felix, trying to take the Kyle Walker on. Now, I know a lot of people do ask about this. How do you do this? I have done a separate video on it. So if you wanted to watch that, I'd highly recommend it. But just to show you, as I lay the ball into Beckham now, here, when you see that change, that is now where I've literally pushed the left analog stick and the right analog stick inwards. So I've clicked them in, and then that means that now you have this new thing. So then you can use the right stick to flick it in the direction to who you want to change to. The AI will control the Beckham. So you can see here, I changed to the João Felix. I'm now controlling this man. I arc my run as I want. I press Y for the through ball, and then Beckham will send that kind of into my feet. Like so, trying to take the Kyle Walker on, but obviously Kyle Walker's João Felix. As I said, it's a very hard defensive matchup for us to go and get past him. Really, obviously, a very good centre back. So we'll see how the game pans out. Anyway, 1-0 up in the first 5 minutes. We will just kind of relax and analyze this game together, so you guys can see exactly what I'm looking for. You can just see here I'm marshalling around with Hector Herrera, trying to keep him there, pull him up a little bit there, so I pull him out of position. So this is dangerous for the opponent to get into. I remember this goal. I dive in here, yeah. So this all stems from this year, moving your centre mids and tracking back with your CMs is the thing that I would always recommend you guys to do, right? So Maddison, we pull him out slightly here. I pull the Hector Herrera back because I'm worried about these two players. The opponent's playing the 4-4-2. I'm worried about the 1-2 between the Neymar and the Drogba. So I do well here. However, I make an initial mistake. Watch how I pull this Herrera up slightly. So I pull him up a little bit there, and then I pull him up again here. And now there is a massive gap into this area. If I would have kept the Herrera into there, I'm not saying I still would have defended it, but I certainly would have had a bit more of an opportunity to come back and help the defensive line out. When attacking, I ask you guys to get into this space as much as you can. up against the defenders, take the centre mids out the game and get into here and attack the defensive line. So I pull the CM up too much, and then it means that he's straight onto my back line. This obviously is dangerous now because Herrera should be in and around here, but because I pulled him up, he's not. Now he's got the ball with Mane. I'm trying to keep track of 2 runs, but also keep track of him on the ball. I go forward. I kind of stand up here. I'm expecting a skill move, but he actually decides to just literally dribble and then take a big touch with the sprint. It wasn't even the bridge, and he gets past me really easy. Looking back on this, once I'm in this scenario here, what should I have done? I switched to the Kyle Walker. I wait. Maybe I should have just held off more into this pattern, and I tried to commit into him, right? I'm trying to predict his skill move. Maybe if I just hold myself back, hold that L2 button, the LT button, and jockey, and kind of react to the movement he does, I possibly will defend that. But he does very well there. And then the ball roll from him was timed to perfection. I tried to slide tackle, so I was expecting him to shoot, but unfortunately he didn't take that. And he does beat the slide tackle really well, actually. So GG to him for that. But now 1-1, 8 minutes in. So obviously, you know, some early goals in this game. So we just want to try and get a foothold on it as well. Whenever I concede early on in the game, I just try and say to myself, right, that's the only goal you're conceding now. You're not allowed to concede anymore. I kind of allow myself the opportunity to concede 1 goal a game. If you concede 1 goal a game in weekend league, you'll be in a relatively good position to hit the elite quite comfortably, actually. So just tracking back here with Kyle Walker, no need to dive in, and Tav does win that. Very, very nice. And that's a poor pass from Wan-Bissaka, but still manages to get through. So using the 4-1-2-1-2 narrow here, trying to obviously get the guys on a run, trying to use it the best way that we possibly can. Aguero's gone on a run there. We don't choose to send it, but Politano is there. We can lay that back off, look for a heel to heel. We go for the heel to heel, and that's a good shot across goal. So works really well, actually. You can just see how even though what I'm doing in the 4-1-2-1-2 narrow is I'm sending these guys on a run, but laying the ball backwards as I do it. It gives me a lot of options. It means that the opponent has got to track a lot of runs. What have I done here? I've got past his centre mids and I've got up against the defender. He has pulled the Kyle Walker up slightly, so I'm going to pass the ball off, send the Politano on a run if he does, you know, if that does show up, but he sticks with him. Now, this is a great time for the heel to heel when the opponent is in the middle of a player switch. So he's just switched. He's now, you know, standing up with his Wan-Bissaka. He goes to commit in and try and win that ball. You could do a ball roll here. You could do a bridge. You could do a heel to heel. Whatever you feel comfortable with, catching him in that kind of mid animation of that player switch. Now, what could he have done to defend that differently and stop that from happening? As he player switches, here, he steps up slightly. If he would have kept his line there, that's the perfect distance that you want to be to your attacker, right? And I talk about this a lot. If you get touch tight, they can get past you really easily. But if you drop off here and go back, he can keep running at you. He can take one touch and then bang, finesse it, lay it off to Aguero and so on. So you want to be, the distance that I explain is, imagine Wan-Bissaka puts his arm out and give him another arm, really. So two and a half arms lengths, about 2 yards, really. It's kind of the distance we're looking for. That means whatever skill move they do, you can react to it. If they just decide to stand there, you can still react to it, but you're not going to be turned too easily. Watch how he steps up ever so slightly. If he just held the L2 button here, he doesn't need to hold the sprint button. He's good enough. If obviously when the heel to heel comes through, he then can hold the sprint button to come and take the ball off me after the heel to heel. But because he tries to tackle me before the input's even been put in, he's not going to win the ball there. He's either going to give away a foul. He wants to meet me at the end of the skill move. So if he was still there, he would have met me at the end of the skill move and he would have stayed goal side. I talk about it all the time. Staying goal side gives you the best chance to get a block in or get a tackle in. Blocks are really strong this year, so make sure you use it to your advantage. As soon as you get the wrong side of your opponent, they can get a clear shot off on goal, and that's where they're going to have the best chance of scoring. As long as you've got men behind that ball, it makes it so much harder for them. We know that blocks are strong and they're very frustrating this year in terms of attacking, but obviously for you as a defender, you want to use that to your advantage and do the best that you possibly can to obviously stop the opponent from getting a goal. So anyway, 2-1 up. We did send the Wan-Bissaka on a run there, which we did cancel by tapping that RB button. João Felix using the heel to heel again. Fake shot stop and then into the fake shot forwards. Laid it off to Politano. We'll go. I think there what we were trying to do was a Lacoqueta. Fake shot stop into Lacoqueta, but I just inputted it wrong ever so slightly. How would you do that if you were going to do it in this scenario? The reason why we want to do that here is he thinks I could go that way, I could go that way. But the Lacoqueta works really well. Say if there was a man here, the Lacoqueta into that way is very predictable and very easy to read because I'm not going to go that way when there's a man there. But Kante is daydreaming about what he had for dinner last night. I don't know. But that's the problem with CMs. They don't track back enough this year. So this is where, you know, the Lacoqueta would work well. How do you do it? You use the L1, LB button on Xbox, and then you push the right stick into the direction that you want to go. So here, you just push it to the left. Unfortunately, I input it wrong, though. I don't input the L1 quick enough, I don't think. And that would have worked really well. Would have got me past into here. Would have made him switch to that man. And then I could have looked for the Beckham as a possibility. But he defends that really quickly. He defends that really quickly, but well as well. Why does he defend it well? You want to wait for the opponent to do a skill move, right, to take the ball off them. Because when they're just dribbling, it's actually quite hard when they don't sprint, when they just left it dribble or use that agile dribbling, because the ball's so close to their feet, it's quite difficult to take the ball off them, right? When they do a skill move, they're in the middle of an animation. That's your time to step in to defend it. When they do that skill move, they cannot change the direction. They cannot change anything. That's when you can go and win the ball off them. So he sees me do the fake shot stop, and then he goes, right, now I'm going to step in. And luckily enough, he just gets there in time to take that off me. I managed to input the Lacko Keta. Could have been a different story possibly, but still good defending from him. So I pull my Wan-Bissaka up there drastically, do right stick switch, tracking with the Herrera, just trying to cover that pass into the Neymar. Track back now, use a sprint button, have to switch, well done, and then we can lay that out. So he tracks back with a Kante, he pulls the Walker up massively. Can we exploit that? Walker's now back into position, and Kante's back as well. We've sent the Wan-Bissaka on a run by accident again. Beckham is there if we want to use it. Mario Rui on the ball. We used a player lock system there, that was unintentional. And then we lay that into João Felix. So you can just see, even in the 4-1-2-1-2, I've done a lot of videos on it recently, how we use it really well. We do get into a good position here with Beckham. Could have laid that off to Aguero. Chose not to, though. João Felix, I think I'll lose the ball here in a second, if I remember correctly. I'll go for the rainbow flick. Yeah, I could have gone in for that pass, to be honest. I think here, I could have gone in for that pass into Aguero. But because he was covering with the Kyle Walker, I had a feeling that would have got intercepted. And I didn't want to lose the ball there. I do try the fake shot stop into the rainbow flick. It does work well this year, that fake shot stop into rainbow flick, but he does defend that again because he waits for me to do the skill move and then he inputs that to kind of come through. Brilliant tackle there. That's one thing that you can do really well in defense, actually, if you can learn it, is you're tracking another man, right? So you can just see here how I'm tracking with this, and he's looking for the Drogba. As soon as he takes that touch with sprint, if he didn't take that touch with sprint and he just dribbled, I would have carried on tracking this Drogba run. I would have carried on tracking back towards my goal. But because he takes a touch with sprint, I play a switch. I just use the LB, the L1 button on PlayStation, to change to the guy closest to the ball. And because he's took that touch with sprint, that is your opportunity to step in and win that ball back from the opponent. So that's what we do there, and we take it off him. If he didn't sprint, we just carry on tracking the run. Nice and simple. But that's why I don't tell you to sprint that often in attack, because that's where the opponent can come in and take the ball off you. So you just have to be very mindful of it as and when you use it. And like even here in the middle of the pitch, so Beckham doesn't win a ball there, but Kante taking that touch with sprint, Marquinhos taking a touch with sprint. It just obviously means that you have got the opportunity to take that. So Drogba's coming through now. We just need to keep running back towards. Yeah, so like here, right? We don't go and commit to this opponent. So this is a really common one because obviously through balls are so popular at the minute this year because of how strong they are. Watch out, Walker. I don't go to him like this because then he could do a fake shot and get past me. He could do whatever. Think about the tram lines. I keep going backwards towards my goal, pushing him out towards that edge. He can take the shot all day, every day there. That's absolutely not a threat. We don't mind whatsoever. Not a problem there. So we're just going to try and jockey here. Stand up, win that ball. Well done. Now time coming out. Lay that ball up front. Time with this pass. See, this was frustrated me when I did this. That's a really, really poor pass from me. And then again here, and then I gifted him a goal. So that all stems from my mistake. Drogba with a lethal finish. When I lay this ball out here, I'm a little bit unsure, right? Because I want to lay the ball back. Because I want to try and find this man. But I could turn that way, but then he's covering with that. That pass into there is ludicrous. That's where all the players are going to be. Even if I receive that ball, I'm under pressure straight away. It's a very easy way to lose a ball in defense, right? So the best time for an opponent to win the ball back is when they've literally just lost it. That's the easiest thing. If you hold the ball for 2 minutes, it's quite easy for you to keep holding it. But as soon as you receive the ball, you can lose it quite common. I probably should have just gone for the over-the-top through ball, even though it's on Aguero's weak foot. At least then if I lost the ball, I'll lose it here, and these players are then more scattered out. But because I lose it in that position, straight away he wins the ball back. I do win the ball back with Maddison. What I should do is take a touch, play the way I'm facing, go backwards towards my goalkeeper. No need to panic, no need to rush. I tried to go for a stupid pass. I tried to go back to Maddison, but even still, that would have been ludicrous. And the opponent does capitalise on it. When you are trying to go from gold to elite, that sort of mistake you cannot make, right? You cannot make. Now, for me, fortunately enough, even though I make that mistake, I believe in my ability to, go carry on and win the game, right? However, if you're gold 1, gold 2, those sort of mistakes could make your head just go, and you lose it. You just need to try and cut them out as much as possible. However, you're not going to completely get rid of mistakes. It's something that will still happen. It's inevitable. It's football. It's FIFA at the end of the day. You will make a mistake. You're only human. If that does happen, just take a breather. Don't worry. You want to try and recover from the mistakes as best as you can, but you know, try and limit them. Obviously, good run here from Beckham, and that's just a bad touch. Beckham obviously not the greatest card this year. Well, the 86 that they've added in anyway. I will give his hopefully his icons a proper go at some point, and that's Tavernier getting caught out of position. Good tracking back though. Kyle Walker and Tavernier really, really good. So he presses forward here. So he pulls his centre mid out of position. I lay the pass off very stupidly. But you can just see how he's trying to isolate with just that one. I think is it Marquinhos he's got there on the left-hand side? He keeps pulling him up a little bit. Same with the centre-backs. So it's 36 minutes on the clock now. Pass into Politano, lay that ball out wide, go back in the middle. Wan-Bissaka comes over. We're up against the defensive line. We're going to look, yeah, so that's exactly how we want to attack. Literally how we want to attack. That is brilliant. What we're doing is we're pulling up his Marquinhos. His Kante is out of position. He should constantly be trying to keep that Marquinhos in here. Cover the pass into the strikers, right? He tries to win the ball there. That's not that pass out wide. He can't stop this pass. I'm using the 4-1-2-1-2 now. It's impossible for him to stop this pass. So he needs to keep that Marquinhos in this gap and stop this Aguero from getting in behind so easily. But because he does that, now Wan-Bissaka comes out. And now, what am I up against? I'm up against his defensive back line. Mistake on his end. We lay the ball off with Aguero. Double tap pass. Just literally the through ball button. Tap it twice. It dinks it in the air ever so slightly. And Aguero gives us a very, very good finish. With the centre mids stick in front of the strikers. So you saw how I made my mistake on the first goal. It's really the similar concept for him actually. He pulled the centre mid out and gives that room and that space for the striker to get in behind and get the shot off. And obviously, if you can get into that position as much as you can, you're going to score goals. And that's obviously something that you want to try and avoid the opponent from doing when you are defending, and it will help absolutely massively. Don't ever do this off kickoff either, by the way. Just trying to run directly at the opponent. It's just a poor way to lose the ball. Kickoff is the easiest attack you'll ever have in your life. You didn't have to do anything to earn the ball. You get given the ball for completely free, other than conceding a goal. And he lays the ball off there. That's poor from him. João Phillips, some good dribbling. Play that ball down the line. Well done. Beckham on the end of it. Try and lay this in the middle. It's a poor pass from me, though, that is. Fancy if I can win the ball back. I trap back with Herrera. You can see how often, like, I don't press loads in the middle with Herrera. I constantly just keep tracking him back, right? Keep trying to pull him back into position. And Kyle Walker just wins that. We are coming up to half-time now, so I'd like to think that I just keep things nice and simple. No need, when you're getting up to half-time, it's the 43rd minute, no need to do anything stupid. You're winning at the minute in this game, which is great. It's 3-2. Brilliant. Go in at halftime at 3-2. Don't try and make an attack and give the ball away in the middle of the pitch and then bang, he's straight back on you. Then it's 3-3. Again, mentality, it'll go. So just take your time. Take the time down on the clock. You can just see her picking the ball up with Wan-Bissaka. Probably go backwards here. Run it out towards the line. Yeah, so now we know there's 1 minute of added time. It's pretty much our half. Beckham, I've been loving those attempted shots recently with Beckham on the edge of the box. Not as good as I'd like him to be in that area, but yeah, definitely a fun one to use. It's the 45th minute. He's not going to be able to counter on us. We can go for what we want here. I think I'm probably going to whip this in. I do indeed. Tav at the back stick. Unfortunately, he does win that. And Maddison's going to go for a long ranger. No, unfortunately, yeah, we don't get the chance to get the shot off. But a fairly solid half. I think the goals coming from my mistakes, obviously from the first one, moving that Marquinhos up in position, and then the second one, just giving him the ball really cheaply. So we'll have a look at the match stats anyway, as we do go in at half time. 3-2 up, goals from Politano, Felix Aguero, Mane and Drogba for the opponent. The one's not pressing that. So that is, for us, a 6 shots. What was it? Come on. 4 shots, 4 on target, 60% possession, 92% pass accuracy. When trying to get into elite, honestly, this is a big factor. If you keep giving the ball away in the middle of the pitch, you are not going to create chances. I always ask, you can only give the ball away in here, the final third. When you're trying those little passes into the box, in the middle of the pitch in your defence, limit the amount of times that you do lose the ball. Now, I'm not asking you to hold the ball and be possession heavy base. I really don't care about possession you have. I just ask you to be mindful of it when you are building up. Like, that's a poor touch from Beckham's. That's me. This is something that a lot of you guys will do as well. And it's not necessarily defending, but I suppose it aids in it as well. I take the touch kind of backwards, but then into him. Always take the touch away from the opponent. So as a general rule, take the touch backwards the way the ball was played, and that's one of the most simplest ways to not lose the ball. Wan-Bissaka here, not diving in, just waiting for the opponent to show his face. He goes for the bridge, and we just keep tracking back with him. Kyle Walker just standing up, not doing anything special, tracking back with that run. We saw it coming through. Kyle Walker does do that. So like here, when he does that, you saw him stand up. What he's trying to do is get you to commit here and attack this gap. If you step up here ever so slightly, that man is in behind. I've spot that man. The gap's there. The defensive shape should look like this. That's what we should have, and the CDM should be here. Unfortunately, that's not how it is. So now I want to try and maintain defensive shape as best as I can, and that's exactly what we do. He goes for that pass. Luckily enough, Kyle Walker's there to intercept it and say thank you very much. We will take that one off you. And we lay that off there. Politano sending him on a run. Haaland making a brilliant run in behind. And we go for a chip. Pope with a good save. That Haaland card, very, very good. Obviously, just driving forwards, getting in behind. And what we're going to do on the corner here. 50th minute, though. Obviously, the opponent, you know, still in the game. We want to try and grab a fourth just to put the game to bed. Something that I do struggle with a little bit at times, actually. Wan-Bissaka on the edge, laid it off to Maddison. Yeah, can we look for a skill move? We work it in. That's a poor pass. Really, really poor pass. I should have held on to it there. But again, exactly the same thing. So watch how he takes his touch with Drogba. If he takes a touch with without sprint, I don't dive in here. I stand up. Because he takes a touch with sprint, bang, that's my time to go and win the ball. It's now 50-50. I charge at him, slide tackle, and win the ball. Thank you very much. Haaland driving forward. Nearly getting through with a bridge, but Pope just claiming that one. He goes for the boot up long. Drogba up against Kyle Walker. Just about managed to win that with Kyle Walker. Maddison to come over, but using the right stick switch here. So you can just see there, although he is going to get the ball in behind, I was trying to predict his next pass. So as soon as he lays this ball out wide, I'm thinking you're going to lay that pass into there. So I'm already on with Kyle Walker. If he lays that pass, I win the ball. It's aggressive defending, but also, you know, it has a risk, obviously. If I win the ball, great. He lays the ball in behind. He goes backwards, though, and nearly gets an opportunity. Fortunately enough, though, we do get it. We send for the through ball. Politano managing to squeeze his way through. What a run that is. And ball rolling the goalkeeper and slots that one in. That's a brilliant finish, that is. And that's one thing that, although this is mainly focused on defending, if you get the opportunity to lay a through ball in behind, I'd honestly ask you to take it as much as you possibly can. It works really, really well this year. Politano with a brilliant, brilliant touch as well and grabbing us a goal. So straight from kickoff, I think we come through and we're going to grab a goal. Yeah, I remember this. Haaland with a beautiful, beautiful finish. This is the same for you guys, right? So, you know, this guy's been in the game. It's not like I've dominated him. He's had chances here. He drives forward with Neymar. Now, I don't know what he's trying to do. I don't know if he's trying to do that flick up thing where you keep running with the ball and glitching and so on. He loses the ball, and now it's 4-2. He just needed to make sure, I say on kickoff, exploit the wings, go down the wings. That's where you have the most amount of room. And now we get through, and we're going to send the game set, match one. Again here, we beat through the centre defensive mids, the centre mids. We get up against the back line. We're sending these guys on a run. He needs to maintain team shape. He needs to stick with his Kyle Walker, pull him back. He pulls the Gomez up, and then he pulls the Kyle Walker out as well. Maintain the team shape. Don't let them commit that easily. And then hopefully you'll get an interception on the ball. And that's obviously a fantastic finish from Haaland. So that is how the game is going to finish. Thought it would give you guys a little bit of a rundown on it. Something a little bit different, a different type of video. I hope you guys did enjoy it. If you did, please do give it a big thumbs up. Obviously, we've got a few pointers that I need to work on there with regards to the CDMs and not passing directly to the opponent when laying out as well. Thank you all very much for watching. I do appreciate it. Let me know how you got on champs on the weekend and how you're feeling for the weekend coming up if you are going to be playing. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.